Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story TV and the Her Story podcast. This is Getrude Matshe here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia today. And I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating lady coming to us all the way from Australia. Welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your beautiful story with us today.
Okay, thank you so much, Getrude, and I thank you for having me on the show. And I'm Deborah Wallace. I'm 58, and I'm from Sydney, Australia. And my group or my passion is sailing. So I started Sailing Women's Network. I founded the group back in May 2018. And it was for like-minded women who enjoyed and participated in sailing, specifically offshore, which is my passion. And quickly from Australia, it actually grew to a worldwide group. And now I have over 1,000 people connected from over 35 different countries around the world and over 100 cities based around the world. So it's something that grew from very humble beginnings, and it was formed in the idea of getting women together after we raced and to come together and network, meet each other, and share their stories. And our first lunch was actually held on the 1st of May in 2018. So very excitedly that afternoon, there were a couple of people that wanted to continue networking and thought it was a great idea. So I continued linking people in, and then the following December, what happened was we had the Sydney to Hobart yacht race. I met some women from overseas and linked them in, and also women from interstate. So it was it grew quite rapidly. It is actually a closed women's network, so women have to actually answer a few little questions to get into the group, to keep the network pure and focused along the lines of offshore ocean racing or ocean racing.
Wow. You know, it's so fortuitous that I get to meet you at this point in my life. As you might know, I'm from Zimbabwe. I grew up in a landlocked country, lived for the last 21 years in New Zealand, and never got to sail until I remarried and met a man who loves yachts. And for a woman my age, you know, in my 50s, starting on this new adventure and sailing the oceans is going to be quite fascinating. Now, where does your passion come from? Is this something you grew up with? How did you begin?
No, I did come also to sailing late in life. And when my marriage broke down in Queensland, I moved back to Sydney where my roots are. And I happened upon sailing. My sister was going out with a gentleman that owned a 48-foot X-yacht, which is absolutely a stunning cruising boat. And I was invited to go twilight sailing. So, you know, we're off the mooring, the mainsail went up, we pulled the headsail out, and I'd never done any of this before. So the boat heeled over, and that's when it started, my passion, you know, the wind in the sails and getting excited about, you know, going at speed and, you know, tacks and jibes and all those sorts of things. So I really fell in love with sailing on Sydney Harbour. And then from there, I thought, well, I'd like to do a little bit more other than twilight sailing. So I asked around. I had one friend at the time who took me over to the club that I'm a member of, which is the CYCA. And we hopped on the then Commodore's boat and went for a sail. And again, that was actually a race, and I was addicted. So that's how I came to fall in love. And from there, I haven't looked back.
Absolutely fascinating. And the fact that now you've created this group and you are connecting women from all over the world to participate in this is really quite fascinating. You know, a lot of times we hear about these opportunities. We have no idea what's really going on. I am clueless. I have no idea what I'm doing. I was lined up to do a course in October, but because I'm stuck in Melbourne, I can't do it now. But it looks to me like it's a close knit community, because once you're in, you start connecting with so many people who have a passion for this. You know, the way you and I connected through Jules was a bit of a coincidence. I didn't know her until a week and a half ago. And you will not believe we almost bought her boat 3 months
That's
ago.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
that's when I
amazing.
realized this world is quite small. And then when you listen to the people who do meet, they've met in other parts of the world as well when they've been sailing around the world. So where have your sailing journey taken you? Have you gone outside of
So
Australia?
I haven't done much sailing outside of Australia. I've done a little bit around Thailand, but that's probably about it.
Okay.
But funny you talk about the network. That's a part of the group. Sailing is a small and very close-knit community.
Mm,
And one of the things about Sailing Women's Network, and one of the things that I love is, you know, I get people reaching out to me from Brisbane at the moment, or over the past couple of years prior to COVID, reaching
yes.
out from Brisbane, from Melbourne, and they're coming to Sydney, or they want to be introduced to someone in Melbourne. What I
Right.
found was one of the biggest obstacles I had to overcome is walking into a club as a single woman, not
Woman.
having too
Oh,
many network, having no network,
right.
and starting to establish a group of peers and friends and sailing colleagues, because it was something I wanted to do. Now, for a lot of women, that is actually quite daunting. So
Yes.
if they can reach out to somebody or be introduced to somebody that takes them hand in hand and says, hey, let's get you on a boat. I'll introduce you to some more people after we come back from
Yes.
sailing. It just makes it a more personal event for them, and such
Yes.
a nice uh, a nice experience, because I feel so. You know, one of my purposes is actually to make sailing more accessible for people.
Okay. That is just awesome. It's awesome because it does feel like a very male dominated sport. Not a lot of women are in this world, so to speak. So, from your experience, have you been sailing competitively? Have you been involved in some of the rallies? Tell me a little bit more about what exactly you've done.
Yes. So, as I mentioned, I started sailing during twilights.
Okay.
One Friday night twilight soon expanded to a Wednesday twilight. And then from Wednesday twilights, it expanded into Saturday. Actually, my first season was on a 52-foot yacht on
Right.
Sundays for 10 weeks. So that was a baptism of fire. And I use that a lot. You know, in sailing, you can get thrown into different situations, and
Yes.
it really is a baptism of fire. But from there, I ended up racing, you know, around Sydney Harbour,
Okay.
and doing a few sailing out of the CYCA, but also sailing out the Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron. So on Tuesday nights, we actually have at the squadron, we have a women's series, which is
Okay.
purely for women to gain experience and get onto racing yachts, and it is a proper race. It's a proper series over 16 weeks
Wow.
and 12 weeks of actual racing. The current captain, Karen Goynich, who I met when I did start sailing, she is actually one of Australia's first Olympians to actually go to the Olympics and represent Australia in sailing. And she's an incredible lady. And she's been nurturing the Ladies of the Sea program for a number of years. So that's out of the Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron. So I race in that, and I have raced in that over the last couple of years.
Right.
And then during Saturday and Sunday, you've got the CYCA. In winter, it's on Sunday, and in summer, it's on Saturdays. And we do the Blue Water Offshore series. So it's and I participated in those. So that's sort of a little bit about my in harbour experience. But then I had the opportunity to actually sail up north with my dad, who actually is a sailor, but that's another story for another interview. So I sailed up the east coast to Port Douglas and did the offshore regatta up there. I've had the opportunity to do the Sydney to Coffs race and deliveries up and down the coast. Also, I had the opportunity. A situation was actually thrown at me and my then partner, who had a Volvo 70. And one of my proudest moments was we actually facilitated the first Indigenous crew to actually do the Sydney to Hobart passage. So we ran, officially, we ran alongside the fleet to Hobart, and with a crew of 8 Indigenous sailors as well. So, and then that was the Volvo 70. Then we delivered that back from Hobart. And then the following year, we did the Sydney to Gold Coast officially with the Indigenous crew as well, and came back. And so that's some of the sailing that I've done. I also sail on a couple of different boats over the season. So I sail with, I sail on a Far 40 as well as a X42. Sorry, and an X42 yacht. So I race up to 2 or 3 times a week.
Wow. This is truly a full-time job for you.
It's a full-time pleasure. So it empties my head. So, you know, it's the sport of sailing. Once you get on that boat and you know, you're out, you're hoisting the sail, it's a great way of relieving stress from your work and your job. So, you know, that sail goes up and all you can think about is, you know, trimming, or depending on what position you're in, doing the best job you can.
Wow. Now, I know that some boats you sail with a team, some boats you sail alone. What do you prefer? And if it is a teamwork boat, how easy is that to work with other people?
Look, I do. I've never done any solo sailing. I admire people that, like Wendy Tuck, and Wendy is doing the double-handed to Hobart, and then we've just had Pip Hare, who've done the Vendée Globe solo. And, you know, those people that take on the ocean. And then we've got Lisa Blair, who's actually sailing solo around Antarctica at the end of this year. So that's actually, there's only below 45 degrees. So there's only ever 3 people that have done that. And this is her second attempt. So she'll have done that. So I really admire those people that have done solo sailing, but I'm more of a team person. Put me in a team. Look, you know, sailing actually is consistent. The way I look at sailing is it's consistently problem solving.
Okay.
So, yeah, so you've got to be a problem solver.
Right.
Looking forward, you know, listening to your other crew members, and like
Mm,
anything, you're only as good as you know,
the team.
as the team is.
Yes.
So I had the opportunity to come on to Cyrene, beautiful, as I mentioned before, 42
Yes.
foot, and I was the new member on board, so I
Right.
had to prove my worth, put it that way. So just listening and, you know, listening, contributing positively, you
Yes.
know, asking, you know, if you're doing the right thing, you
Thing.
know, getting that
Yes.
feedback, listening at debrief, taking on criticism and working towards a better role or better skills.
Now, if there is a woman who's listening to us right now, who's kind of sitting on the fence thinking, oh, I'm too old, I couldn't do this, what would you say to her? Because a lot of women hold back. We hold back out of fear, out of, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not going to be good enough. What advice would you give somebody who is thinking about it and hears you today and you could give her that little next step?
Do it. Reach out to your local sailing club and, you know, if you can, go and do some courses, or there's heaps of online videos and things that you can
Yes.
watch. Just be aware of your own personal strength, be aware of your fitness, and
Yes.
also just be aware of the people around you. If you do get that opportunity to go on a
Mhm.
boat, be aware of your environment and, you know, listen to what's been told, and also ask questions. Ask
Yes.
questions. You know, what are we going to be doing today, Skipper? Where would you like me to sit on the boat today? I've never done this before, you know, all those sorts of things. Also,
Yes.
reach out to people at the club. Maybe there's somebody that through your own personal network, you might get an opportunity to meet someone. But the other
Yes.
thing as well is, you know, you can reach out to me, email me. And if I've got someone that is in a club in your area, I can probably
You
sort
can
of
connect
network you
them.
and network you and connect you up. So
Oh, fantastic.
you got to
That
give
is
it a
just
go.
awesome. You do have to give it a go because one of the things you never want to do in life is to regret not having tried.
Exactly. Exactly.
So now let me take you into your future. Let's imagine that time is an illusion and time doesn't exist. And I can teleport you to the 100-year-old you. You're sitting on your rocking chair with your dogs, your cats, your grandchildren, whatever it's going to be. And if you could have a conversation with this amazing woman at the age of 100, what would you say to her based on how you're living your life right now?
To be perfectly honest, it's overcome your fears. Go and do it. Don't worry about what people are thinking, and be positive and live your dream.
Oh, fantastic. Now, is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't?
Um, no, I don't think so. It's like that probably down the
I did a
track I'll
good
think of
job.
something, but no, that's amazing. That's really
Oh,
good.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Deborah, thank you so much. I tell you, like I said, I was so excited when I heard about what you're doing. This is a new world to me. I don't know how to swim. I'm scared of the sea, but I'm feeling every fear and I'm doing it anyway. And just listening to you is such a source of inspiration. Thank you for showing up in my life.
Thank you, Getrude. And also, when you're coming up to Sydney or via Sydney, reach out. I'm always available for a cup of coffee or something a little bit stronger.
That is
So,
awesome.
and it's about that network. So,
It is.
reach out and
It is.
let us know, and we'll be able to connect you with wonderful people around the world.
Fantastic. So, ladies, here is your opportunity. Deborah is available on Facebook. I've got her group scrolling at the bottom there, the Global Women Sailing Network on Facebook. Do something different this year. Overcome all of your fears. You only have one life. Live it to the full. And Deborah, again, I do not have the words to thank you. What we're trying to do with the Her Story Network is to share these inspiring stories with women all over the world. And I believe that every single woman is like a door into another world. And today we've opened your door. We've got to know a little bit about your adventure and what game you're playing in the world. Thank you for being such a source of inspiration. We need more women like you to keep stepping up. Thank you.
Thanks, Getrude. And I look forward to hearing from many people.
And thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. I will be back again tomorrow with yet another amazing guest. If you haven't registered to speak at the Her Story Online Summit, please go online and register. We are having several events between now and the end of the year. 7th to the 17th of October, we have an online summit. The 1st to the 30th of November, and the 1st to the 10th of December. Go online, register. The website is the herstorycircle.com/registration. Thank you, everybody. See you next time, and bye for now. Thank you, Deborah.